So how many people, well, my age, you probably watched the original Star Trek. Some of you younger folks, the next generation. Some of you have caught some of the later movies. But who's ever seen a Star Trek movie or a Star Trek TV show? Anybody? Pretty much all of you. All right, good deal. So you are familiar with the term light year, right? Light year. And it's not about time. It's not about a year. It's a measure of distance. It's a measure of distance. It's the distance light will travel in 1 year. Now, just to get you an idea of how long that is, you could take all the cars being made in the world this year in 2023, drive them until the transmissions fail, and you still won't drive enough miles to equal the distance light will travel in 1 year. The whole idea of the light year to measure distance was set up because as the telescopes kept growing and growing, and as we learned more and more and more that the more they study the cosmos, the bigger it gets, the farther it goes out, the farther they see, and that to measure these vast distances, miles just won't do it. So that's why they created the light year as a measurement. And there's a song that says, we don't believe in a heaven light years away, which means we don't believe in a heaven that's far and distant from us. We believe in a heaven that's close to us. And that ties in very good with today's gospel reading. Because Jesus, with this crowd on this big old grassy hill on the shore of Galilee, if you ever get there, it's worth seeing. Very easy climb. Sheep still graze on it. Truly, it hasn't changed much in the time of Jesus. The shoreline is the same. The ships are bigger, but they still fish in the Sea of Galilee, and the hills of Nazareth are still to the back. But sitting there, Jesus looked at this crowd below him, and he was telling them how close the kingdom of God was to them. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He's not talking about the blessed in some distant future. He's talking about those people right in front of him. He says, blessed are they who mourn. They will be comforted. He's not talking about the mourners of the distant future. He's talking about then and there. Why is the kingdom of God with them? Because Jesus is with them. Why is Jesus with kingdom of God with those who are mourning? Because Jesus is with them. Why does he tell the meek they will inherit the land? And by the way, inherit the land, just as a side note, was a way of saying have enough land to grow food to feed your family. So it's a very practical thing, that's what it means. So you can have a life, feed your folks, feed your kids. Why is he telling that to these people? Because he's there with them. Why does he talk about the merciful being shown mercy? Because he's there with them. Blessed are the peacemakers, called the children of God. Why is he telling them that? Because he's there with them. He's telling all these people that the kingdom of God isn't far away. The kingdom of God begins with Jesus in their lives. So he invites them to accept him and to follow him, because then they are now entering the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God has entered all of us, or we have entered the kingdom of God by the birth of our baptism, and when we receive communion, and when we receive the other sacraments, the kingdom of God further enters our lives. And every time we put our Christian virtues to work, when we exercise mercy, when we exercise comforting others, when we exercise being peacemakers, when we exercise being charitable, we are further entering the kingdom of God. Because the kingdom of God is not far away. We'll enter it into its fullest when we transcend from this world, that's true. But that's not where it begins. It begins inside of every one of our hearts, and it is there now. Because Jesus Christ is in every single one of our hearts now.